Move this. No. I need to move this down, not up. What am I doing? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. My name is Eli. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our Q&A session days where I answer any and all of your guys' questions. If you're wondering why the title of the video is the way it is, I typically don't have time to go through and answer a lot of the comments from my previous videos, so today is the day for you to have your questions answered live. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to support the channel in any other way, we've got a ton of links down in the description below. Two in particular, I hope you check out. Patreon, we have any open spots available for our wholesale access tier. Highly recommend you check it out, as we have a lot of opportunity for you to gain access to Pokemon product as well as other card game product at wholesale prices. And then outside of that, check out our Discord, as that's where we make the majority of our notifications made, as well as that's where a large portion of our community of like-minded individuals are. So I highly recommend you check that out. Speaking of which, we're down to our last 80 packs, I want to say, of our break. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend you go check it out before it sells out. If it doesn't happen to sell out by Friday, it was pretty impromptu, then we're probably going to have a decent amount of people by day of, since there will be leftovers. But I'm excited. It's going to be nice since we're going to have a break again. It's been a while since, we ended up skipping Crown Zenith because I didn't have any product to break. But a couple of shout outs to those that are here so far. Let's begin. Martin O, Andrew Klein, Tom Piz, Ripper, Jacob Gordon, Maverick, Mikkel Christensen, Joker, Senpai, Market Scraper, Daddy Zard, Nick P, Corey, DJ, Breaker, Mike, Pokey, Dad, Trinell, RD, John Doe. What's up, John Doe? Good to see you, brother. Pokey Collector J, and Connor. I'm just gonna say Connor. Connor is my sixth. Well, thank you guys all so much for stopping by, but I'm excited to jump into it because obviously we had a conversation on Tuesday. Predominantly it was talking about sealed product and stuff to break down, but we had more or less a conversation on yesterday's video about the whole concept of reprints and everything. So quite interesting how things change so quickly. But obviously, as new information is provided, things are constantly changing, such as my opinion, because it was wrong the first time, which is nice to see. But how this is going to affect the market, we truly do not know. So we'll have to kind of see as time plays out with that. But I'm excited for today, though. It's going to be a good Q&A session day. I'm excited to be back with the breaks as well. So, but let's get into it, see if we got any questions so far. People want chicken nuggets. This thing again. Chicken nuggets. It feels like it's been a while, John Doe, but maybe I'm tripping out. How you been, brother? Joker says, I'll buy break packs tomorrow if some are left. Fingers crossed. What's up, Jason K? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Tom? Good to see you as well. Yo. Good afternoon, everyone. On my fourth booster box opening, of what? Of Scarlet and Violet? I've still yet to open any Scarlet and Violet products. See, that's the thing, is if hypothetically speaking, which I doubt it because it usually does sell, but hypothetically speaking, if there is any Scarlet and Violet product left, I'm like, ooh, your boy might want to save some for himself and do a little bit of an opening. So, because that would be quite spicy. Speaking of spicy, I just actually got an email notification from my distributors. One Sword and Shield Brilliant Star booster display, one Shining Fates Elite Trainer box, 2 Silver Tempest Build-A-Battle Stadiums, and 2 Lost Origin Build-A-Battle Stadiums for $259. So if we're saying that they're going to price the booster display at $84, we say they're pricing the Shining Fates ETB at $35. 259. What does that leave us? Minus 259 equals 140. 140 divided by 4 puts us at $35 a pop is what they're charging for the Silver Tempest battle and the Lost Origin battle, if that's kind of what we're going off of. Man, I need to email my rep now. It says it was just done first come first serve. Holy crap. That's crazy. Well, I'm like, all right, well, I might have to make a quick phone call here, ladies and gentlemen. But who knows? Who knows on that one? Any idea when SV will be back for ordering? How long is it usually after the set release for next week? For the next wave? That's a great question. I would say that it really just depends upon what's going on with the Pokemon Company, because there's been moments like back in Chilling Reign where there was supposed to be a quote-unquote second wave, and then what ended up happening was it got delayed continuously, and so the product just never became available. But outside of that, it's one of those things where it just really can change from time to time. Like, God, what's a good example? Brilliant Stars. When Brilliant Stars came out, I had my distributor reach out to me shortly after, and he was like, hey man, I actually have quite a bit of Brilliant Stars extra that we were given. Do you want to order some more? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to order some more. But that happens from time to time. There's never really it's never really firm when it comes to it being definitive one way or another. Keep getting busy on live days, but here when I can. Well, it's always glad to have you here. Department store, how do I be like Eli? That is a tough question. How do you be like Eli? Well, you gotta first off start getting into financially crippling debt by being someone who likes to collect Pokemon. No, I'm just kidding. I was in Japan last month. It was harder to find sealed product than US. Crazy over there. So I've heard, man. So I've heard. So what do you think this time frame is for the BB reprint? Brilliant, I mean. Well, the time frame is as follows. So for me specifically, I have 4 distributors. One of them shipped me the product, which I received the product on Monday. So it's Thursday. So 3 days ago is when the first wave of product hit the market. I got notified yesterday from one of my distributors that their Brilliant just got in stock to ship. So that means that should start hitting stores relatively soon. And then I just obviously got a notification again today from another distributor saying that they just got their Brilliant Star and they're doing a bundle, which that's actually kind of a fire bundle. It says first come, first serve though. So order with, which I'm like, I use my camera for doing orders, so I'm like, I want to just call them right now. But yeah, that's where they are with that. And then I had my other distributor as well give me a call yesterday. So it feels as if just now today and over the next couple of days, we're going to start to see the product finally kind of filter through. That's what I would say. But like I said, it looks like it's small. It doesn't look like it's big, so we'll kind of see how that's going to play a major effect, but who knows. Have you seen bad print quality on SV like I've heard? I've only opened literally 4 or 5 SV. Actually, how many packs have I opened? I think I've opened 6 packs of SV just from I did a pre-release event and at a local game store. And of the 6, I couldn't say that the quality in terms of like the, miscuts, fades was bad, but the silvering is definitely not my favorite. When does it stop buying product from you for me? When does it stop buying product from you for me? Oh, holy crap, I'm stroking out. When does it stop Okay, Tom, I have no clue what you mean. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I can't understand what that means. Only way to build business is going into debt. Exactly. You totally get what I'm saying, man. You take out a loan on your home first and foremost, right? So if you don't have a home, then you rob a bank. Specifically, I'm not a fan of Chase Bank. They can go frick themselves. So if you have to choose to rob a bank, financial advice, Chase is the way to go. Specifically speaking, if I were you, I think the most effective way to rob a bank is have it be politically motivated. So like get a group of individuals that you can like kind of protest with, go to like an an area that's in like a high crime area, and just like start throwing bricks through the, glass, break it open, just go. If you got guns, rob them at gunpoint. And then that's where you get your seed money to start investing in Pokemon. And then once you've done that, make sure that while you're at the bank, this is a crucial part I forgot to mention. You have to make sure that the loaning officer, at gunpoint, you got to make sure he gives you a loan, right? Because, you're not a total monster. Like, listen, you're robbing a bank, but you're at least going to sign some paperwork in terms of like getting a loan too, because you're going to pay him back. You're a good guy, right? And we know we're going to do well investing in Pokemon here. So this is like the first initial step. And then once you've done that, if they try and go after you by saying you robbed a bank and you are, targeted, you just got to make sure you have some political agenda that you can like really push back on them so that they'll get afraid, because then what are they going to do, right? They're going to get canceled on Twitter. And then that's just big brain. Have you seen Pokemon Twitter? Man, they're toxic over there. They're going to cry. How dare you? Like, just saying, that is the way you get your money out the gate, right? Then once you've taken all that money, easy investment, Steam Siege and Crimson Invasion, drastically undervalued. Battle Styles too. Battle Styles only at 110, 115. Come on, guys, let's be honest here. That should at least be $200 plus. I don't think it's a hot take to say that Battle Styles could go to Evolving Skies relatively soon, probably within the next week, if I'm being completely honest. So, but I was reading my crystal ball this morning, and that's just kind of what it's been telling me, right? I know it's weird. I do have a crystal ball, but my horoscope told me to buy one after I went into crippling depression. They said it would help me fix the void in my life by being able to tell the future and obsess over that. So that's kind of where I am at this point. But yeah, that's my financial advice and what I really recommend for those that are interested in becoming rich. That's like my step-by-step plan. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any further questions, I won't answer them because there's no point. I mean, there's no point in debating this. This is the way to do it, and if you think there's another way, you're just wrong. So frick you. No. Aside from Brilliant Star, what are the other reprints that are coming? So we know Astral Radiance booster boxes, but no one's talking about that because no one cares about Astral booster boxes. So it's interesting to see, man, because I saw a couple of people comment saying it's not a reprint, it's a restock, it's a resupply. And listen, man, I'm very quick to say restock, resupply because that's literally what I said on Monday's video. But I had multiple people message me saying, hey, Eli, I have per my sources, and these are like individuals that I trust, that this was an actual small like reprint that happened that Pokemon filled their orders. And these people are like credible individuals. I won't say who they are because then they're going to get targeted and messaged all the time. But why would I backtrack, right? Why would I make a video on Monday talking about, no, it's not reprint, it's just a restock, it's just a resupply, and then immediately be like, hey guys, I'm wrong. Like, what? Like, what's my incentive for that, So I find it quite interesting that people are just kind of, I just find it quite interesting to say the least. So, but, hi Eli, I hope everything is great. So your last video, can we say anything before Brilliant isn't getting a reprint? I am confused by what you mean by that because I've already gotten multiple messages from my distributors about that. This guy, I'm saying a statement never ends. This guy, I'm saying as a statement, it never ends. Buying product from you through distributors. Thank you. Now I understand. That makes more sense. Okay, thank you, Tom. I'm so sorry. That's on me. Astro and restock on Shining Fates. Yes, Shining Fates as well. Thank you on that one, Gennaro. Forgot to mention that. Rob, Chase, and Chase Altards. Trinell gets it. He gets it. This is the way. Robert liked that reference. Eli puts a lot of thought into this. Every morning I wake up and I think, what can I do to rob a bank? I agree with that. I think meditating on, like, how do I want to say this? I'm a huge believer of manifestation. And I think that from what I've learned most commonly, manifestation has been most successful for me when I have a gun. So I just don't know what it is. But like when I have a gun and I ask to manifest something into existence, people just have a way of complying more often. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of weird. It works that way. So when I tell the teller that, hey, all morning I've been manifesting that you're going to give me $1 million. And then she's like, please, I have a family. I'm like, why is that relevant to what I'm asking you? Just take the money out of the drawer. Like, I just don't get it. But she does it, and it works out great for me. So I'm just happy that, you know, everything's good in life. The universe is listening to me. Things are happening. You know what I'm saying? How do you guys store your sealed product? Try joining the wholesale program. I've gotten less and less spare under the bed, and my fiance is worried. Oh, bro, my fiance is like, bro, the living room, it's bad. The living room is so bad. My living room is just boxes constantly. My fiance is like, are you gonna move these out of the living room? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And then I like move them, and then I get more boxes, and she's like, what the frick? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I need more places. It's bad, dude. A terrifying amount of thought went into this. $10 loan, right? What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's having a wonderful time. Welcome to Eli's vent session. With prices the way they are, the move is up. The move is to put up all stuff I open on TCG Player, in my eyes, but hold on to certain cards to then sell when they go up, when they use them for meta. Hold on, let me read that one more time. With prices the way they are, the move is to put up all stuff I open on TCG Player, in my eyes, but hold on to certain cards to then sell. No, that's not a bad strategy at all, Tom. I think for myself, if we're talking specifically about bulk, what I like to do is I like to list the majority of cards that are like at a certain price point already, and I like it that they're selling at that price point. But for certain cards that, let's say, are worth like 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, whatever, I'm not going to sell them until they hit a certain price point. Sure, you could hypothetically say a card that's worth 10 cents goes to 50 cents, and I could miss out on that, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not here to like get greedy on it, because I'm trying to churn so much bulk as fast as possible. So if I have a card that's worth 3 that goes to 6 cents because it becomes market, you know, competitively viable, and I miss that bump up to 20 cents, I'm totally fine with that. I doubled and cashed out. Like, that's how I kind of look at it, you know? Eli's really giddy today. Oh, seriously. Corey gets it. Guns are OP. I agree. What's up, Trader of the Lost Ark? How we doing? What's good, Eli? What do you think about CZ ETBs over the next year or two? How will they do compared to the rest of? It's hard to say, Trader, because we obviously don't know what the future is going to hold for Pokemon reprints still, and it's one of those things where I want to say they're going to do really well if we don't get reprints of them or a resupply or something, right? So in theory, but if something happens where we do get a print, then it's obviously not going to perform as well. But I mean, if you just look at how things are performing, specifically the Pokemon Center ETBs, I mean, they've been performing phenomenally. So my expectation is pretty simple. You know, supply and demand economics is more or less going to do this things for this item. They're just going to keep going up until some more supply comes. What's it at right now? $66. Has it really done much? It's gone a little sideways, but that's, I mean, totally fine by me. Totally fine by me for sure. Have you guys seen the value as well of the Sky Seal Stone from Crown Zenith? Doubled in price. That's pretty sweet. DJ gives the concerned face. See, package total gets it. It does give you the confidence boost that you need. Can we take a look at the singles for SV on TCG Player? Yeah, let's take a look at singles. I hope everyone realizes I'm kidding. I am 100% not serious, obviously. We do a little trolling here and there. So, alrighty. Where are we with this? So, singles. All right, so what has happened? Miram hasn't really done much. Gardevoir hasn't really done much. Interestingly enough, Gardevoir, talk about a roller coaster of volatility. This is a card that went almost up to $20. Then it went down to, where it is now, more or less. I mean, I technically went to as low as 540. We don't know if that's ship included. There's always, it's always deceiving. But right now the card's at about 725. It wouldn't surprise me if this card went up to around 10-15 bucks. I think Danny Phantom was actually talking about that too. It totally makes sense. Miriam EX, another card that's also going to be extremely competitively viable. We've discussed this before. This card, once again, it's actually bounced after a low. It's at 840 is the low. I mean, you gotta wonder with this card too, right? Like 840, do I think it could go to 10-15? Yeah, but that's not really like a crazy prediction here. It's not like it's gonna move a ton. Nestball on the other hand, it obviously went down, then went right back up because it's pretty good competitive wise. Outside of that, is there anything real interesting that's more or less going on in the market? I mean, since we last looked, products more or less going, I mean, it's starting to say, I would say it's just kind of going sideways at this point, but the prediction being that it's just more than likely going to just continue to kind of fall through. Some items are going up slightly, but I mean, I don't know. You got to take everything you look at with a grain of salt on this one. Oh, that reminds me. I need to change a setting on the live. Whoopsies. Need to change a setting for that. No. Click the wrong button. All right. And we're back. All right, cool. But yeah, is there anything in particular, Tom, you wanted to look at, or just the general market? Note to self, never pick up orders from Eli in person. I'm just kidding. Surprisingly, I don't own... I don't know if that's surprising, but I actually don't own a gun. I would like to at some point, though. I feel like this is not the time to have a conversation about this. We're going to move on. I apologize. Why settle for robbing the bank, hold the bankers for ransom, and demand the Pokemon Company reprint Steam Siege and deliver it to the bank before bodies start dropping? Connor, my man, this guy's just foreheading it. Oh my goodness gracious. Talk about big moves. This guy gets it. This guy, Connor, I salute you, bro. You had 180 battle academies coming to your house. Oh, Tom. Oh, they came already. They came literally 10 minutes before the stream started. So I'm already ready to cry because it's a lot of boxes. Eli's fiance giving hella side eye when he gets more products. Seriously. Sadly, some banks are going under, so it may not be the best idea to rob a bank. All right, Jason, I need your financial advice. If we're not going to rob banks, what are we doing instead? Right? What are we going to rob? We need to figure something. Have you noticed Vivid booster boxes have gone out of stock on Pokemon Center? I have not. I didn't even realize they were in stock for that long. Huh, interesting. My question, do you think sets that came out before Billion Star, like Fusion, Evolving, etc., are not getting a reprint? Man, so you're already trying to get me canceled. So here's the deal. I've said this before, I'll say this again. The rotation has happened. What does this mean? It means that, historically speaking, there's only been one time when a Pokemon set hasn't been reprinted when it is out of rotation, or has got a reprint when it's out of rotation. That is Evolutions. Other than that, there is not a single other instance, I think, to my knowledge at least, that that's happened, right? So, what was in the previous rotation? All Sword and Shield leading up to the Shining Fates era. What sets are still in rotation? It is Battle Styles until present. So, in theory, right? This is in theory, hypothetically, not confirmed. Holy crap, stop taking me out of context. Battle Styles and Forward could still get a reprint. Now, do I know at this point if it's going to get a reprint? I have absolutely no idea, because as time goes on, obviously when it comes to Battle Styles, Chilling Reign Fusion, you got to wonder what the Pokemon Company's freaking doing. I still have hope, or I still have some semblance of faith that Evolving Skies has the potential to still get a reprint. Now, is this 100% confirmed? Do I have price points for where I think it's going to go to? No, this is clear conjecture. I am just saying that based on what history has shown us, it would make the most sense to me regardless of the border transition or switch. But I could be wrong, because maybe that's going to play a huge factor. But as we saw with Evolutions, which got a reprint when it was out of rotation, it's shot up to a crazy amount of money. I mean, I can't put the exact numbers on it, but, you know, as high as, what, $400, I think is what some people were saying during the time. And that's kind of where Evolving is right now. So why not, right? Why not? Once again, I am not saying that it is going to zero. I'm not saying it is going to $80. I'm not saying it's going to $100. I'm not saying it's going sub $200. I'm not saying that it's 100% confirmed. I'm not saying that I know for certain it's going to happen, right? All I'm saying is that based on what we've seen historically, it would still make sense to me that there's a possibility of it happening. Right? So for everyone saying that Eli 100% confirmed said Evolving Skies is getting a reprint, you're wrong, you're crazy. I'm like, what the frick? Why am I getting taken out of context? No, that's not what's going on here. It's not what's going on here. I'm just saying more than likely it would make sense to me if that were to happen, and I still have a semblance of hope that it's going to happen based on history. And I don't understand why that's so crazy to say, because history tends to repeat itself as history repeats itself. So, I don't know. Quite interesting. So that is kind of my personal opinion. Now, outside of Evolving Skies, as time goes on, I would say sets like Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, and Fusion, I become less and less confident of getting reprints, just because those sets are more or less like, how do I want to say this? They're not Evolving Skies, right? They're not Evolving Skies. They're not these huge just pockets of demand for a specific set, right? So that's kind of where I am with that. Totally, I was saying cards that are higher value being used right now. A lot for sale, trying to ride the wave. Pokemon is going to reprint these nuts. I have what it looks like to be a PSA 10. Miram special illustration. Is it worth having a grade with all the polls? I mean, for me personally, WH, when it comes to grading, here's what if I'm being honest, here's what I typically do. Typically, when it comes to release, I immediately list it for sale, because I'd much rather have the upfront cash right then and there, knowing that it's going to be at some of its highest price points, than try and wait if there is a continued price decrease as more supplies continuously open. That's what I look to, right? And sure, you could say you go send it in for a 10 because you feel confident it's a 10, and that's totally a risk that you could take, but you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know what that implication is going to be in terms of what the prices are going to look like for 10, because progressively they're just going to keep going down as more people, or as more supply gets added to the market. You try and beat the market. You can try and send in a rush order. You could, but is that going to be worth it? Depending upon, like, there's so many what ifs, and I'm like, I can just get the money right here and now, and I'm going to get it at a premium because it just is part of the release week, right? So that's how I kind of look at it. Like, I just have to say 50 nest balls, and I'm throwing them all up along with Miriam EX because people are picking them up to use in their decks. No, I mean, that totally makes sense. The question is, what are your thoughts, Tom, on if you have any sort of price predictions yourself on the Miradon or on Nest Ball? Do you think either of those are going to have certain price points that you expect them to hit? John, I remember when Eli was wrong once. Looks like history is going to repeat itself. So some tells me like John Doring is not a big fan of the idea of Evolving Skies reprints. But like I said, man, to each its own. To each its own. Rob the Millennium Print Group. There you go. Department stores got it all figured out. Just start on TCG Player. Nest Balls are my first ever listing. Hey, let's go Trinell. Rob your pantry. Battle Styles came out before Shining Fate, so wouldn't it be out of standard? No, Battle Styles came out after Shining Fates. So Shining Fates official release was in February, I want to say 17th. Here, we can look this up. So Shining Fates release date was February 19th. I was off by 2 days, my bad. Battle Styles was in March. Battle Styles was March 19th. So Battle Styles, not to mention, if you want to know how this happened too, when you go and look at the cards, they will say on them what rotational wave they are a part of. So Battle Styles is part of the E wave. The D wave is the wave that just got rotated out. So if we go and look at Shining Fates cards, D wave is what got rotated out, which, to be fair, there are cards that are actually a part of the E wave in Shining Fates that are still in the rotation. Not really a ton. The majority are part of the D wave, but it's still worth obviously mentioning that there are a few that are still, technically speaking, in rotation. Did he just say 100% confirmed reprint? Yes, you heard me right. You heard me right. Right? Free Evolving Skies, give us Battle Styles right now. Do you think Arceus VA figure collection will get a reprint? Nope. Highly doubt that. It's a specialty product. Would not make sense to me if they did that. It's entirely possible though, because obviously everything is possible, but that doesn't mean it's gonna happen or not. Isn't Fusion Strike out of print? Well, have we gotten a reprint for Fusion Strike? No. Is it in theory out of print? I feel like people throw that term around a lot and without understanding what the context of the idea of out of print really means, right? Just because something hasn't been reprinted in a while doesn't mean that it's truly out of print. There's been countless items that we thought were out of print because they didn't get reprinted that just all of a sudden got reprints out of nowhere. Perfect example, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Elite Trainer boxes. These were items that were at $140, over $100 per ETB. People were like, they're out of print. They're not going to get printed again. Why would they do that? Doesn't make sense. And then they got a print last year and then dropped. They just crashed drastically. Hidden Fates, Elite Trainer boxes, another perfect example. I mean, I can keep going over and over the examples of people saying it's out of print and then it gets a print, right? Nothing is officially out of print just 99.95% of the time other than evolutions until it's out of rotation. That's like, you can't disagree with me on that because that's just what's happened. Like, that's fact. That's not like me saying that to be like of opinion. Like, that's statistically what has happened in history, right? You can say something is in print and you don't think it's going to get a reprint, right? Like a day before the rotation, you're like, okay, well, I think Sword and Shield base set is out of print because there's no way it's going to get a reprint. Well, yeah, of course, in theory, that is true, but also at the exact same time, we had a small resupply, reprint, whatever you want to say, of Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes literally a week before the rotation happened. So anything's possible. And God, I remember the video that Rudy made back in 2016 where he said that, all right, guys, it's over. This is it. Everyone missed the boat. I was right about Roaring Skies. Prizes are just going to keep going up. Blah, 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 blah. I told people to get in when you didn't get in. Pokemon Company says this is it. This is it. And literally, it was like still midway into the first rotation. Like, it still had a year before it was fully going to get rotated out. And then January, they announced there's going to be a reprint for it, which is still, at that time, the rotation was in August. So it was about 8 months away. So still quite a bit away before it rotates out. And then he makes a video saying, how dare they reprint it? Blah, 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 blah. That's crazy to me. And it's like, not really. Like, the Pokemon Company can reprint literally anything they want at any point, but specifically if it's competitively beneficial for the market is usually when they are most swaying toward that. Now, there's an argument to be made about that with Evolving Skies, obviously, but Hidden Fates is also a set where I would use to kind of refute that statement, as Hidden Fates is not a competitively viable set whatsoever, which, you know, it still got multiple different reprints because of the popularity, and Evolutions was also not really a competitively viable set once again, which it was one of the few sets that got printed when it was out of rotation. So it's like, I feel like the problem that I just have the most is the misinterpretation of two things. One, the misinterpretation that people always are going to rule out reprints when a set is still in its rotational format. That's something I feel like people are way too quick to do. Based on whether you want it to happen or not is not indicative of what the reality of the situation is, which is what Pokemon has done historically. Two, I think another part to be discussed as well, which is the fact of the matter that when it comes to reprints and when it comes to my statements on them, obviously I've said this before, I'll say it again, nothing is definitive. Nothing is 100%. We could, hypothetically speaking, have a possibility of a reprint for Evolving Skies happen, but the Pokemon Company could switch things up on us, whether it be with the silver print borders, whether it be with their just kind of belief that there is no need for it to be reprinted. So just because, you know, once again, I believe that something could potentially happen, there's a difference between a belief versus a confirmation, and I feel like people need to understand that, because I don't want my words to be kind of misconstrued, right? I believe there's a high possibility that Evolving Skies could still get a reprint. Do I think it's 100% confirmed? Do I have any evidence to 100% back that other than just what history has shown us? No, of course. Could I be wrong? 100%, right? This is all pure conjecture, and only time's going to tell if I'm going to be wrong or not. So, and that's just it. And when I am wrong, then I will say, all right, I was wrong. Great. We can use this as a point in history to look back on and make predictions in the future. Or if I'm right, then we can just say, hey, this is just history once again repeating itself. This is not surprising, right? That's the thing, is when I look at instances of when I'm wrong, I don't look at it as an instance of like, how do I want to say this? When I look at instances of when I'm wrong, I look at it as an opportunity for me to grow and learn on what we can make corrections on, or what I can make corrections on in the future, especially when it comes to points in history, because then we can look back on that. Because then we can make that argument in the future, right? Let's say Evolving Skies doesn't get a reprint, and then 3, 4, 5 years from now, we have an Evolving Skies 2.0 set, like I said, that goes crazy. And then the question of reprints happening, and then we can look back and say, hey, remember Evolving Skies? That set got to $500 and the Pokemon Company never reprinted. Therefore, can we definitively say, based on history, that it could happen? That it's definitive that it's going to more than likely get a reprint? Well, historically speaking, it's not the first time. And then we can look back on that and then use that as kind of a key prediction piece, right? And then let's say hypothetically, then that set ends up getting a reprint when people say it wasn't. Then we can look back and say, hey, well, that set got a reprint because it wasn't during the time of the transition of silver borders, but this time what? And you get the point. Like, this can continuously go on, but it's just a foundational piece of building future predictions based on the past. And that's how I'm just going to look at it. And so I'm just going to make my corrections based off of what new evidence proves. And that's just how I feel like you should make most of your predictions. Good afternoon, Eli. Have you considered investing in the cartels? I've heard that's where they make the money at. So recently, I've been watching this really good documentary about cooking meth. It's called Breaking Bad. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of research later. I'll keep you guys up to date, but I heard there could be some reprints for some blue stuff relatively soon. So I will definitely let you guys know what my findings are. No more D-Man. It's like, get out of here. Do you think future Scarlet and Violet sets will continue to have easier pull rates? I don't know, man. I've heard so many mixed opinions. I've heard some people say, oh my gosh, the pull rates are terrible. Oh my gosh, the pull rates are amazing. I haven't opened it myself. We'll open it on Friday, so we'll see what it kind of looks like in terms of pull rates. But yeah, I've got actually no idea. Along with Miradon EX, I keep saying Miradon EX, which is being one of the main decks going to be used. But okay, along with Miradon EX, which is being one of the main decks going to be used, it pulling it in a booster box isn't guaranteed, so I could see it go up. There you go. What's up, Hermit? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the answer. I bought 2 cases. I think it's a good investment long term. I agree. I think it is a good investment long term as well, Ray. P, out of print means not gonna get printed ever. That's what I think when I hear it. See, and I guess maybe that's just a misinterpretation then of what I feel like I try and portray, because in my personal opinion, how do you know that, P? Like, how do you know definitively what is considered out of print and in print, right? Because the thing is in theory, we could say Scarlet and Violet's out of print. We could say Crown Zenith is out of print, right? But why can we say that? We can say that because we have no indication that there is going to be a reprint in the future. But you can say that about literally any item, period. So, and there's no fact to back that upon, right? But when there's an item that is out of rotation, which historically 99% of the time does not get a reprint, then I feel like that's a more confident inducing answer to say it's out of print, right? Because like you're saying, going to the point that you're making, out of print means not going to get a reprint ever, right? Based on what I'm saying, statistically speaking, that makes the most sense, right? But the problem is that people will make statements saying it's out of print, but why do they think it's out of print? And they'll say because they don't think it's going to get a reprint. And then I say why? And they say because I just don't see why they would print it. And then I say why? And then they just keep not saying anything evidential, right? Like, if you have a reason for why you think an item should not get a reprint, or you don't think it's going to get a reprint, like, I need some history to back it up on, historically speaking, why, right? Like, why it doesn't make sense. Why Sword and Shield Base and Rebel Clash didn't get a reprint makes a ton of total sense, right? They were both competitively viable sets in the meta. A lot of the competitively viable cards could be thrown in trainer toolkits. They could be thrown in V-Battle decks. So what would be the point? Because the cards inside of them were not high demand. People had no real care for the set. So it totally made sense to me, right? Darkness Ablaze, on the other hand, was a set that was a collector set because it had a Charizard. Vivid Voltage was a collector set because it had a Pikachu. So it made sense why they went back and they reprinted that at the end of 2021. Arguments like that make sense to me. In theory, were they in print so they could have, gotten a reprint? Well, we obviously saw ETBs get printed for Sword and Shield Base, which they were above $100 at the time, and then they dropped all the way down to 40. So does that make sense from a collectability perspective? Yeah, of course. I think it does from a collectability perspective. But then, once again, going into the conversation of why Rebel Clash didn't because of a collectability perspective, obviously that's up for debate, right? But the point that I'm making is, like, what's the argument other than because I don't want it to, right? Because I feel like one of the most common things I hear the most is people saying that they got in at $300, they got in at $240, they got in at $260, and the idea of it dropping down to sub that price because it gets a reprint is terrifying. And so they like to say, hey, I don't think it's going to get a reprint because I don't want it to. And then I ask them why, and then they say, because they don't think so. And then I say why, and they just don't have a rationale, right? Like, I have no skin in the game, right? Am I evolving, and am I investing in Evolving Skies right now? No. If it goes down, will I have an opportunity to invest in it? Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't, why do I care? There's so many other opportunities to invest in, right? There's been a handful of other opportunities that I've mentioned outside of it, such as Crown Zenith specialty ETBs on the Pokemon Center website, standard Crown Zenith ETBs, and just, amongst a multitude of other opportunities since Evolving Skies has continued to go up, that I've told people to take advantage of. And so for me, it doesn't really bother me that it continues to go up because it doesn't affect me because I don't have any skin in the game. So if it goes up, great, congratulations. It went up, and if you bought it at $300, $400, and it goes to $500, $600, congrats, you made money, right? But at the end of the day, I'm looking at that from the perspective of someone who doesn't have skin in the game, right? And if it does drop, could I potentially have skin in the game? Yeah, of course. But that has less to do with the fact of the matter that oh, I really want it to drop to this amount because I just want that opportunity. I need that opportunity and I'm biased because of it. It's like, no, there's so many other opportunities. It would just be stupid of me not to get in if it did drop based on what history is showing us, right? That's just kind of what I'm saying. You're a genius making like 5K a month. Hey, I appreciate it, James. I wish I was making that much. I mean, I'm doing good with the program, but I'll tell you what, a lot of that money is immediately reinvested. That's for sure. You picking up any Disney Y Schwartz? Any of the Disney Y Schwartz? I don't follow Y Schwartz that much, Trinell, so I would say no. Eli wants the Rudy smoke. It's not that I necessarily want the Rudy smoke. It's this. I've been following Rudy forever. I've been following him forever, right? Back in his bathroom days is when I've been following Rudy for the longest time. And the thing about Rudy that you guys probably know is that his claim to fame is magic. Magic is his thing. Magic is his bread and butter. I would not refute him on that. I would not have a conversation with him about that because it is out of my territory. And I know jack shit about magic. And he would crush me on that because that is his bread and butter. Now, if someone else is in magic and can refute him, then that's, you know, you can totally do that, right? But Pokemon is my bread and butter. That is not his bread and butter. His thing is that he invested in Pokemon when it was cheap because he saw it as an opportunity. And as a smart investor, that's what you do. Now, did he profit off of that very heavily because he invested off of Pokemon product, which at the time was seen as absolute bricks, and it obviously went up over time and did really well? Yes, of course. But in theory, could we have predicted such a hyperbolic move to have occurred, such as over COVID? No, of course not. So did he do well as an investor? Yes, I'm going to give him his kudos to that. But did he get a little lucky because of things that happened? Yeah, of course. But that's not to discredit him from still taking that chance and opportunity, which still would have gone up over time regardless. It just wouldn't have gone up in such a hyperbolic pattern, which is leading into my next point, which is I feel like people put him on a pedestal as an expert because of that in the world of Pokemon, where he doesn't play the game competitively. He doesn't know the rules of the game competitively. He barely knows a lot of the names of the Pokemon cards in the new games. And a lot of the times when he does box break openings, he's like, oh, look at this card. I wonder if this card's worth anything. He doesn't know that because he doesn't really follow it, right? And so that's not a diss on him and his overall, vet experience, because he obviously has time to prove with that. But what it is people put way too much credit on him knowing everything when he doesn't. And I don't think that's unfair to say because I don't know everything. I don't know everything when it comes to Magic. I don't know everything when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! I know nothing about that kind of stuff, right? And that's the thing, is I can easily have someone, tell me, hey, I think Magic, this specific set, super high demand set, got a print super duper cheap. You should pick it up. I have no clue what it is, but I know that based on wholesale prices, because I can go take a look at wholesale prices and I can say, yeah, I'm going to pick up some of this Magic. It does well. That doesn't make me a Magic genius, right? Like, it doesn't. And that's where I get the most frustrated, is because people take his word as law when, if you look at history specifically with Pokemon, there's been a lot of times where he has said things that don't make sense because he's not part of the competitive landscape and understanding the standard rotation, because that's just not what he does. He's more focused on other things like Magic, right? And that's the deal, right? When it comes to Chilling Reign, he saw Chilling Reign and he said, hey, this is a set that is undervalued. Hey, Battle Styles, this is a set that looks undervalued. And it was, because he looks at the wholesale numbers, and that's all he needs to do. He looks at the wholesale numbers and he sees that it's an opportunity to get it for cheap. And that's smart, because that's literally what I preach to you guys. And that's exactly what he has a conversation about, right? Gives good advice. And that's not what I'm saying. It's when it comes to the takes on opinion on what reprints are going to happen is when I start to get a little faulty, because historically, when going back and looking at it with Evolutions, going back and looking at it with Roaring Skies, going back and looking at it with Primal Clash, he's been wrong, but not because, how do I want to say this? he just doesn't understand how standard rotational format works because he doesn't play the competitive game, or he doesn't understand how the competitive game works because that's just not something he follows. He could easily learn it, but he's too busy. He's got other things that he's doing, and that's not his prerogative. It doesn't matter because it's not going to affect him. He's going to keep the same strategy going, and he's going to keep making money doing it because he knows what he's doing in that regard, right? So that's the point. Like, I want people to understand that, because I'm not dissing him, because I give a lot of respect to the decisions he's made with that, as you can see of history of him making money. But still, that doesn't mean you should immediately say everything he says is 100% going to be accurate. If you dispute him, oh my God, how dare you? That's blasphemous. It's the same thing with myself, right? And I want people to say that with myself, right? Because I've been wrong before. I was wrong on Monday. I made a correction on Wednesday's video, right? Like, I am wrong. If I am wrong, I will admit to it. I will eat crow. I'll say, I'm sorry, I messed up, I'm wrong, here's my correction statement. And I will do that because I can't be perfect. Neither can Rudy, neither can anyone else. That's just the history of it all. I think the most important thing is how do you approach that, right? If you're wrong, I think you own up to it. If you're wrong and then you blame something else for you being wrong, or you deflect and then try and move on from that, I think that's unproductive, and I think that's unhealthy, because then people start to see you as perfect. And that's kind of my point at the end of the day, is just the way in which you handle that. But also at the same time, that's also how you want to handle a brand, which is two different approaches. And maybe I'm handling my approach the wrong way. But I don't know. I feel like for my personal self, from a credibility perspective, that's kind of how I look at it, right? Is for myself, when it comes to my own credibility, I'd much rather be wrong and admit to being wrong than be wrong and try and deflect and make excuses, right? Because that's just how it should be. I don't know. And there's been multiple times too where people have made comments that, a perfect example, right? Someone made a comment not too long ago where I said that Triple Beat was going to be a part of Scarlet and Violet base set. I was wrong. I made a correction the next week after reading the comment section. And that was specifically was because they said, hey, for historically speaking, the first set, it usually is the same as Japanese. It isn't until after that where they do the combining of the two sets. I didn't know that. I looked it up, confirmed that he was true. I said, hey, I made a video saying Triple Beat was going to be part of Scarlet and Violet base set. It's not. I'm wrong. I'm making the correction now. Just letting you guys know this is going to be part of Paldea Evolved. So, because spreading misinformation is the last thing I want to do. It terrifies me because I want to be credible. I want you guys to believe me and trust me and know that when I say something, that it's truthful and it's not misleading, because that's the last thing I ever want to do, because I really want to breed a environment of a healthy discussion between individuals where we can make financial decisions that are not emotional but rational and are based in fact and logic, and are level-headed when it comes to looking back on things and learning from those mistakes on what we can do to make adjustments or adapt, right? I don't want to be stuck in one camp over another, right? Just because I invest predominantly in Modern doesn't mean I have anything against WotC, because there's a lot of opportunity in WotC. So I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, I would never invest in WotC, or oh, I'd never invest in Modern, right? Now, do I not invest in WotC for the reasons that I've mentioned? Yes, of course. But do I have anything against people that invest in WotC? No, at all. Because a lot of these people that do invest in WotC have been in the hobby in terms of investing in WotC for a lot longer of a time than most people. And so they have an edge on the market more than most. And so with the risks that I've mentioned, they're able to negate that with their experience. And kudos to them on that, right? It's just not for me, because that is a lot of time, energy, and effort I would have to put into doing the research on something where they grew up in it, and so they had the time and the veteran and the what's the word I'm looking for? The maturity, I guess, of being in that era and being able to see over time what's happened without having to go back and watch a ton of videos or have conversations with a ton of people on it. But I digress, though, because I just went on forever. No, without future information, I expect you to always be right. If you're wrong once, you're a scammer, right? Greetings from Journey, a little late today. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to probably botch this, but Dankeschön, right? Is that how you say it? Oh, God, I'm sorry. I tried. Well, I think that means thank you, right? Either that or I just insulted you. I'm sorry. I tried. Greetings. No, Guten Tag. It means hello, right? Yep. Got it. I'm saying it wrong. I can count to 10. All right, wow. I'm just going to shut up now and move on. Greetings from Germany. Do pull rates matter for long-term investing? Not at all. I would say not at all whatsoever. Because when it comes to, if you look at the history of a lot of sets, such as evolutions, it depends. Actually, I should rephrase that. Because you asked, do pull rates matter for long-term investing? From a sealed product perspective, no. From a singles perspective, oh yeah, big time. So I'm going to clarify that. I want to make sure that's true. Because there's a lot of sets that have terrible, terrible pull rates that have still done really well. Lost Origin right now, most recently, is a perfect example of that. Terrible, terrible pull rates, but it's performing extremely well, right? But outside of that, take a set like Evolutions, which had insane pull rates, really good pull rates, and the cards are extremely cheap, right? That's for a reason. I guess we can't know what's out of print unless it's out of rotation. And that's exactly my point, P. That is exactly my point. What's up, UT Long? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. First time catching a live. Great info, my dude. Hey, appreciate it, brother. Do I think Fusion Strike is a good investment opportunity? Always depends on the price and depends on the product. Magic has the best art. You know what I like a lot of artworks on most recently? I think I've said this before. I'll say it again. Huge fan of Fab. I think Fab's got amazing artworks. Rudy just posted a video about Pokemon reprints last night. Yeah, and that's the thing, Jim, is that it's the reason why I'm partially making the statement that I'm making as well is because I made a video, and then 2 hours after I posted my video, Rudy said he hadn't heard any information about reprints, but also at the same time, he posted that 2 hours after I posted my video, and I have absolutely no idea when he recorded his video. And so he could have recorded it the morning of, he could have recorded the day of, he could have recorded it the day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, 4 days before. So coincidentally enough, I feel like that's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation to begin with about Rudy. It's because people are like, you're wrong because Rudy said this. And I'm like, okay, well, do we know what the time frame of this? And why is it that we trust this, right? Like if you guys want me to go and like talk about my sources, then I can talk about my sources. I can talk about some of the large Twitter pages that I've had this conversation with. I can talk about the names of my 4 distributors and what the names of the reps are that told me that this was a reprint confirmed. Or sorry, 3 of the 4, not the 4. The 1 still has no clue what's going on. Or I can talk about some of the other game store owners that I've had conversations with. If I have to prove myself, but I feel like that's kind of pointless because regardless of whether I say that, the people that are stuck in their camp of Rudy are going to be stuck in their camp of Rudy, and there's no change in their mind because I'm going to be wrong regardless because his word is law. I put Eli on a pedestal, department store says, right? I hope not. What's up, CJ? I feel like it's been a while, brother. Glad you're doing good. Glad this stream is up. I need a break from sorting and posting bulk singles on DCG. I feel that, brother. Somewhat off-topic question here. Any idea on why PCTG insists on providing only matte finished card sleeves? I have no idea, and I never really noticed that. I don't follow PCCG. I assume radio is what you mean, as much as I used to anymore. You heard it here. Eli is going to Eco, right? Rudy has said isn't passionate about Pokemon. Exactly, Corey. Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. If modern investment opportunities slow down, do you see yourself making vintage investments? That's a great question. If modern opportunities slow down, if I'm being honest, I see myself less going into vintage investments and more going into the competitive game. That like what I'm doing right now, because I feel like there's always going to be opportunities for the competitive game, and that's something that I feel like I have a better edge on, because it's a lot easier for me to follow that and stay relevant and see what's going to be worth value, especially when there's always going to be opportunity specifically with competitive cards when it comes to sealed product. But that can't be said, obviously, if you're just trying to buy a booster box in the ETB. Mr. Lochner says, you're just jealous of Rudy. Just say you're jealous of Rudy. I'm definitely not jealous of Rudy, man. I don't know what I have to be jealous about him. He's successful, and I'm very, very happy for him. And I'm happy for him for being successful the way he has been successful. But I don't really have anything to be jealous of. I'm very blessed with the life that I have. And I'm very grateful and thankful for the life that I have. And I wouldn't change that. And I'm thankful for you guys that are here supporting the channel, because I wouldn't be here without you guys. I see the department stores. It's such a troll these days, I swear to God. Watch the past video of yours and you said level 4 and TCG shipping and fees are significantly lower. What happens that makes lower prepaid labels? Okay, so I want this to be understood, CJ. It's not that they become significantly cheaper. That's not what happens. Okay, so here's what happens. When you get to become a level 4 seller, you are able to make adjustments on your shipping rates, which is extremely, extremely important. And what's nice about that is that you can set your rate to 0. And when you set your rate to 0 for your shipping cost, it automatically makes it so that if someone doesn't spend at least $5 in cards, they are automatically charged 99 cents, which gives you an automatic competitive edge, because when it ranks you in the rankings for the like filters of best pricing, it ranks those that put their shipping as 0, which is only people that are level 4 sellers. So if you're not a level 4 seller, then you can't put 0 shipping. You can only have 99 cents, but the 99 cents that shows up is 99 cents regardless of it's over or under $5. And so their algorithm picks up direct 4 sellers first as lower pricing. That's why there's a huge competitive edge. As for fees, the fee structure is actually higher because once you become an official pro seller, it goes up by like 2% what your fees are, 3% to be an official pro seller to my knowledge. So in theory, they try and sell you by saying your fees actually go lower as you go up. But the thing is your fees go lower, but then they add on an additional fee for you being a pro seller. I can actually show the TCG fee structure. There's a chart for this that we can actually show. TCG player fee structure. So they have a chart for it. So as you can see, as you progressively become a non-direct seller, your prices go from level 1 through 4, they go from 10.25% down to 8.95%. But as you can see, there is not a pro seller fee. But once you become a direct seller or have a pro account, then you have an additional fee of 2.5%. So progressively, even though in theory your fees go down, they really just restructure your fees in a different way. So it's really deceiving. And that's on top of the domestic fee for PayPal processing. So it's a little annoying that they try and word it like that, but that's just, that's just them trying to sell you. So that's just them trying to sell you. But I probably should say this since we're in the middle of the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Next questions though. Do you think all sets will have easy pro? I already answered that question. The reprint question is all over YouTube, has been a controversial topic, no doubt. And by far, WH, it is my most controversial discussion that I have. And by that, I mean it is the one that I feel like upsets people the most because people are so opinionated because they have so much money in it, right? I have a conversation about, let's see, slept on Pokemon product in the market. Huge changes. My top 5 worst investments. Product you need to buy. Prices, will they keep rising? Yes or no? What is going on in the Pokemon market? My final investment reviews, right? Consistently, those videos from a percentage like to dislike ratio are at least over 97%, which is my general average. They're non-controversial videos because they don't take a stance in a way where I say specifically you're wrong for something, right? If I tell someone that I think this is a good investment, I'm not directly saying to someone that their investment is wrong. I'm just saying I like this investment, and it's more of a win because it reinforces what people believe, right? And so when it comes to that, if I don't say your item, sure, someone can be upset, but it's less upsetting than someone saying that you have skin in the game on an investment and your investment is wrong, right? And I feel like when people look at reprints, they look at that the same way. So if you look over my last 10 videos, the average video percentage is around 97 to 98% like to dislike ratio. My most recent video that I posted is a 95%. It doesn't seem like a lot, but for me, going from a 97, 98% to a 95 is like a 2 or 3% difference, which is quite a bit. And it just really comes down to people being extremely opinionated on the topic of conversation, and they have their own personal bias or opinions, which causes them to be angry with me, which is why the dislike ratio is a lot higher. And it's a bummer, but at the end of the day, it's like everyone has their own opinion and they can do whatever they want because that's how life works. We have free will. So yeah, it's a touchy subject, but I'm still gonna talk about it. I've been opening Dragon Ball Z Super, Final Fantasy, One Piece, and have so much better quality and cutting. Hope Pokemon can time their quality. I would like that. Oh, let's go. I nailed it. I took German for a little bit back when I was like in middle school, so I know a couple of things here and there. Are the printers all broken at Millennium, or do you think something else underlies the serious lack of product? Oh, Connor. Okay, so I've had so many different conversations with so many different people about this, right? And each person has their own theory, right? I've talked to a bunch of other big streamers. I've talked to other big LGS streamers about this. I've talked to Pokemon insiders. And when I say Pokemon insiders too, just so you guys understand what I mean by that, I mean like large Twitter account followers or large Twitter accounts or large like social media account pages that have connections with other game stores and such. And so that's kind of what I mean by when I say that. Because people are like, does that mean you have connections with the Pokemon company? I'm like, no, I have connections with people that have connections with other people. So it's yeah, I've had a lot of conversations, and everyone has their own theory. Everyone has their own. I've heard so many different theories, man. So many different theories. It's ridiculous. So honestly, I could sit down and I can go through all of them, but I feel like I'd just be repeating myself at that point. I live in Florida and was wondering if buying a dehumidifier would be good for sealed product. Ooh, I would like to believe the answer to that would be yes, in theory. Because in theory, although the value of your cards when they do have a slight bend in them because of moisture doesn't go down when you send them in for grading, for PSA, the outside of the boxes still could, leak in, and there's a small chance. It's a chance, but it's a small chance. It's a small chance, but there's still a chance that it could potentially damage things. So it depends on where you're obviously storing your product. But I've said this before. I really like if you're going to store it in the original sealed cases, or I like storing it in like big plastic bins that you can throw it in, because that typically will at least have some layer of protection when it comes to the moisture. But a dehumidifier works great. It just obviously has to affect where you're storing the product. What about... Oh, I just missed it. What about niche items like 2021 Pokeballs with Cosmic Eclipse? What about them, Don? What is your specific question about that? I lived in Oregon back when I had some moldy cards. Can't speak for Florida. I would say if you're thinking about it, it's probably a good idea. Really, what part of Oregon did you live in? Because I'm from Bend, Oregon, and I never had any issues. Is Chilling Rain being reprinted? Don't know about that, but it's less likely. Bullking made a recent video about TCG Player Direct. Sure, he's selling a lot more product, but for more than half the profit in fees. Yep. Oh yeah, man. But that's the thing, is you have to look at it as a volume game. You can't look at it as a profit game. You have to be able to see the value in that. SV seems to have brought a lot of anti-investor videos due to pull rates lately. Northwoods, Bud, etc. Is it better for the game to have products sit on shelves or sell out and create a I want this? From a competitive perspective, better to sit on shelves. From an investor perspective, better I want this. What is up, Jose? Good to see you as always, brother. Thanks for stopping by. I'm happy that we don't have a problem with reprints in Germany. We don't have the chance to buy it later for cheaper costs. But if you buy it at release at MSRP, it only goes up in price. Jeez. That's such a funny statement. I'm happy that we don't have a problem with reprints in Germany. We don't have the chance to buy it later for cheaper cost. See, but that's the thing, is, wouldn't you want that opportunity? You know? I guess you're saying it's good because it's definitive, like you know the market more transparently, but then it's like if you didn't get in then, you're screwed. Won't lie, sealed product is held mostly under my bed in a dark closet, so a bit worried about That's so funny, dude. Bend is very dry compared to Portland. WH, very good point. Which, if that's where Portland is. Wait, were you the one that said you lived in Oregon? Yes, you were the one that says that you lived in Oregon. Okay, so you lived in Portland. Great point. Yeah, I mean, Bend is the Central Oregon High Desert. That's what it's literally called. So, no, that totally makes sense. Like I said, I had no clue where you lived in Oregon, because it's obviously so different depending upon your climate, because it's all over the place. Won't lie, so already answered that question. I've been selling Pokeball dive tins for some time now. It's been a great niche in Pokemon TCG for people trying to collect sealed Pokeball tins to display. Would pulling bags, okay. Connor had plastic bags. Would you say ETBs or battle boxes have a better chance at profit? I assume you mean build and battle boxes. Elite trainer boxes. By far, if you're talking about sealed long-term investment, if you're talking about breakdown value, typically build and battles. There are good small instances of wins. Just recently, I was able to sell $150 with co-cards over $350 worth in ETB sleeves. All of that just sitting around, all in TCG Player. Okay, Trader of the Lost Ark. I would love for you to tell me how you were able to push the volume of that for $350 in ETB sleeves. Because holy crap, a lot of money in sleeves. That's insane. Shout out to you on that one. My Walmart has had 4 to 8 Celebration Zard boxes every week for the last 3 months, so my storage is running low. Sis Robertson out here flexing on us. That's actually pretty sick, dude. Congrats to you on that one. That's, whew, dude, that's super cool. Yeah, that's absolutely insane, dude. I haven't been to my local Walmart recently, so I might actually want to check that out, because when I went there, they had like a full-on display of it. It was amazing to see. We'll just say that. So, because having it be that we're able to see a full-on display of Celebrations product available, chef's kiss to that. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's a great question. How much were you selling your sleeves for? Because, I mean, to be fair, I don't really have a lot of sealed sleeves of ETBs, but still, nonetheless, it would be nice to know. I had a ton of ETB sleeves sitting around either from ETBs we had opened ourselves, or I picked them up from locals for 1 to 2 packs. Some of the sleeves, like the Golden Arceus, sell for $2, listed around 100 in packs. Celebration boxes are 20 at Walmart. Yeah. See all their sleeves. Wow. That is a lot of, yeah. That's crazy, dude. Congratulations on that. About to flood the sleeves market. Can we be called the shoppers? The Pokemon. Found a bunch of sleeve blisters at below $5 on my area. I got the girl at the register to give me them for $4. I also pulled her phone number. She was cute. Okay, well, Jose, I mean, so obviously we're talking about Trader here, but Trader, here's my question for you. Have you had experience selling cards that are non-ETB sleeves? That's my question for you. I'm lucky enough to live by Pokemon vending machines, and I kid you not, Celebration's ETB sit in it, so I pick up 5 every time. They're retail plus tax. That's insane, Chris. But they were priced at $4, or were they higher at $5? Brings up a valid point. He brings up a valid point. Arc for the win indeed. Man's got over 2,000 sales. But like I said, man, have you had any luck outside of just the standard? Have you had any luck outside of just the standard ETB ones? Have you had like regular ones? Because if you're interested, I have a ton of them. I have a ton of just regular sleeves. Oh, in terms of sleeves, I just been selling ETB ones. Yeah, no, it wasn't a misunderstanding. I just kind of was under the general assumption that it was entirely, possible that just because you were selling them that you could also have other ones. You haven't sold any other ones? Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, why would you? You don't need to, it seems like. I mean, it's a 5 and below store. If he got her to price it for $4, I don't know how that's scummy. I just knew I had a ton of them sitting around and wanted them to be gone. Shocked to find out they were worth quite a bit in how quickly they moved. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at let's take a look at Vivid Voltage sleeves for a perfect example. They're selling for $7, and there's one sold yesterday, and then on the 3rd, and then a 2nd. I mean, they don't move terribly. God, I had so many sleeves of all variety. Who knows where they are now? Yeah, it's just one of those things that's hard though, because the value for myself, I guess, of getting the sleeves and breaking them down from ETBs, that's just tough. That's tough, man. I mean, maybe from like specialty ETBs, right? Like Shining Fates Pokemon Go. Like, let's take a look at the Mewtwo sleeves. Like, those are selling for $5. There's value there. They sold last a couple days ago, so they sell. Did he say how much the original price was? I must have missed it. What box would you recommend shipping for boxes of ETBs or V boxes? Oh my gosh. That's a tough one, man. So for ETBs, I say 9x7x5 or 10x8x6 if you're trying to ship one or two. For typical V boxes, I usually would say I put them in a big old bubble mailer for one or two. And if it's more than that, it's really tough to say, other than trying to find something that has the original dimensions of whatever the box was and just basically getting one that's half the size or of the same size and just filling it. I guess maybe I just don't understand the context of what he was saying, Tom. I'm going one step above and getting the cards graded. Because let me ask you this from a moral perspective, right? If someone has if GameStop had a deal that they sold out of where they had booster packs for $1.80 and they were just doing a flash sale and they end up selling out of them, and then you go to Target to price match that and they accept the price match, are you scummy for that? That makes sense. I don't know if that's comparable, but look up Arceus Gold PC sleeves. $12. Wow. So let's think. You get 12. I mean, gosh. I mean, that's good and all, but where are you buying these from, right? Or are you just saying I just had a ton of these laying around? You just give in, Jose. No. New play. Take a Japan trip to load up on Japanese exclusive decks and sell on TCG Player. Talk about a business write-off, baby. Aside from having a photographic memory, where can we find a confirmed reprint timeline? There isn't one. There is not one, sadly. I had some laying around. Also bought them from locals. People are always looking to move ETB sleeve. It's pretty wild, to be honest. 1 to 2 per pack is what I buy them for. Well, here's another question, traders of the Lost Ark. Are you buying them in their original plastic sleeving, or do you have some that just happen to have a 65 quantity? Did someone say business white off? Oh yeah, Reggie Lecky has gone absolutely insane for sure. But going back to Hermit's questions, there is not really a place to have confirmed timelines. The only thing I can say in terms of timelines that I have always recommended people do is that you go through and watch people's YouTube videos. And so, like, for example, let's go back to YouTube and let's look up Roaring Skies reprint, right? Roaring Skies reprint. Well, here's one of the first videos that pops up. But so you can go look at the timestamps of when the video was posted. So the video for this was posted January 6th, 2017. So that is when the video was posted. Are there other videos about Roaring Skies reprints? Yes, multiple different videos about Roaring Skies reprints. And from here, you can go through the rabbit hole of clicking on his videos and then clicking on his older videos discussing it. But obviously for one of the videos I referenced, like I said in January, as when this one was posted, this is where you can see old videos that people posted during the time of when the reprints happened, and continuous videos of saying, hey, reprints are coming, this is when they're coming. So that's kind of the whole thing of it all, is that you just go back in time and you just look up old videos. In their original packaging, got it. Looking to sell high competitive cards that aren't VMAX or V-Star off the top of your head besides VIP Pass or Sableye? Are you asking me a question of which ones or what? So you're saying basically, I feel like I'm going to move on from it. I honestly didn't. I thought he was just making a joke, and I didn't realize there was something contextually inappropriate that was going on for the conversation of the Five Below thing. So I apologize. But yeah, I mean, there's the thing that's great about the internet is there's so many resources you have. This one is a little bit inconsistent, but still has times. The Way Back Machine is another one. If you go to the Way Back Machine, they have timestamps of certain websites that had prices being sold at certain prices. And one of those being the price of Roaring Skies was selling at $175 on Wholesale Hills Gaming. And then I had a timestamp that I showed on, this was a video I posted not too long ago, or a while ago, sorry. And it was a timestamp of a week later on that same website of them selling it for $80. Eli, feel free to throw any of your sealed deck sleeves in my shipment as a bonus item, right? I mean, if we're talking deck sleeves, like Trainer Toolkit deck sleeves, like, I may or may not have hundreds to thousands of those. So I also have mini portfolio binders and a lot of coins and a lot of dice. So if that's worth anything, I need to get rid of it. And for some reason, I've held on to it rather than throwing it away because I don't know why. Guess I'm a hoarder. Didn't think I was, but... What's up, Catchem? Good to see you, brother. Hey, well, I'm glad you didn't miss the live today. We still got a little bit of time before we wrap it up. And code cards are slept on as well. Oh my gosh. I probably have at least 20,000 code cards. I mean, literally, I'm just staring like in front of me on my desk. Just, this isn't even that big of a pile in my opinion. Like, this is a tiny, tiny pile. But yeah, I've got probably 20,000 code cards. Like, I mean, look at this times like 50 is what I have. So many code cards. So I'm a hoard. But yeah, the amount of code cards I have is insane. They are not sorted in the slightest. Not sorted in the slightest whatsoever, which is awesome because, yeah, that sucks. Basically just had a bunch of code cards that we've gotten from all over the place and just kind of threw it into one big box. Question is, do you sell the code cards on TCG Player or somewhere else? TCG Player, yeah. I mean, code cards do go for something. So here's the question. How much are Astral now? Astral Radiance code card for a booster pack, right? How much do those go for? They're going for 3 cents at the low point. But there's a couple that are selling for 5. How much are they actually selling for on average? 6 cents? 6 cents? Not bad. Now, here's the real question, right? How much are Scarlet and Violet? Let's do the Amper. Code card. Really? Those are also pretty cheap. All right, show me what code cards are worth the most. Silver Tempest, maybe? No. I mean, Silver Tempest is worth 8 cents. That's quite a bit. Lost Origin. Those are worth 7 cents. Someone's got 2,000 of them. Especially when you don't need to ship them. Take a picture of a bunch in a single frame and email them to the buyer. But how do you email them to the buyer? Like, do you message them asking for their email? Probably you're still charged for shipping, unless they ask you for a refund, which in theory would be totally justifiable. I mean, gosh, we have so many code cards. Arceus V-Star Ultra Premium Collection code cards are for $15. How much are the Charizard Ultra Premiums going? That's the real question. Oh, those aren't going for that much. 25 cents. That's still a lot, but I almost felt like it would be worth more or less, at least $1. I have not department store. I am just in the final process of discussing with my bookkeeper and going through everything. And then I will be on the phone with my well, she is my accountant, but we'll say my tax specialist or my CP. And we will all have a conversation. But getting close. Almost there. Fun times with that, that's for sure. My favorite, taxes. Yummy, yummy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here is the situation. We, technically speaking, have about another 15 minutes in this, but I'm actually going to end this 10 minutes sooner than I usually do. So I'm going to end this in the next 5 minutes. Reason being, it's only 10 minutes early. It's not that big of a deal. But reason being is I have a lot of packages I have to ship out today. So I've got a lot of things I still need to take care of, and I want to try and get it all done because I'm going to be, obviously, tomorrow setting up for the break, and then all next week I will on Wednesday actually be leaving for a trip back to Bend, so it is going to be a fun time with that. What kind of shelving system is that in the background? It is an IKEA 16. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It is an IKEA 5x5 cubby box. That's what it is. It's like $150, super cheap. I was like, let's go. What collector's chest did you get? A bunch of the spring 2022 code cards are $2. What? No way. Actually, that's the 2020 ones. Okay, you're saying the 2020 ones. I was like, I've got the 2022 ones. Still go for 8 cents a pop. We take that. I really like it a lot. I bought some LED lights to go with it. Obviously, it shines everything up in the back for my collection. Get to share a lot of my really nice cards that I have that I'm very proud of. One of which I have multiple copies of, but here's one that I love for all of you guys that are Swampert fans. PSA 10 Hollow Swampert from Great Encounters. Got it graded. I feel special. That I can totally see Traders of the Ark. Oh, never mind. Yeah, those are the 2022. No, the reason why a lot of people order them, Tom, is because they have Evolving Skies in them for the 2022. You can totally turn in old code cards. There's just not really an incentive for ones that are not competitively viable unless they have like some sort of specialty sleeve or something that comes with them, I feel. Some sort of display ability. But man, the 2020 ones, that's crazy. Great artwork. Man, it's really crazy what you'll find here, man. If we go Pokemon rather than go sets, product type. Here, if we just go I mean, is there supplies? Is that like a keyword here? See, because if you look up supplies, you can't really look up I mean, can you look up Pokemon supplies? Like, I don't think that pops up really, no. Like, how do you kind of look that up more or less, you know? But who knows? Gift cards? You guys want gift cards? Oh, here's a supplies button. But can I filter this with Pokemon though? I don't know if I can. Kind of. Huh. That's pretty sweet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm just going to wrap it up here. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We post pre-recorded content for you to do so each and every week, Monday and Wednesday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our Q&A session days. Can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support that we have on the channel. But that is all.